Episode 5, Dangerous Proximity. Being Raven Maddox's assistant was already stressful. But Maggie didn't expect every interaction to feel like a battlefield. The next morning, she arrived early, determined to finish the schedule he'd given her yesterday. The office was quiet except for Raven Maddox, who was already there, leaning against the desk like a predator. "You're early," he said. Maggie didn't look up. Someone has to start before the boss demands perfection. Raven's lips twitched in a half-smile. "Boss? I mean, you," she muttered, slightly embarrassed. "Not boss." He raised an eyebrow. "Correction noted." Maggie tried to focus on the stacks of papers, sorting through schedules, budgets, and letters. But she could feel his eyes on her the entire time. Every flick of her wrist, every shuffle of paper, every bite of her lip when she concentrated. She refused to meet his gaze. She refused to let herself get flustered. But when Raven stepped closer, reaching for a paper on her desk, their hands brushed. Electricity shot through her. Her heart thumped. Her face warmed. "Careful," he said softly, almost teasing. "You almost spilled something." It's fine," she muttered, quickly moving her hand. Raven didn't look away. He lingered, close enough that she could smell his cologne-rich, cold, intoxicating. "You like a challenge, don't you, Maggie?" he said. Maggie froze. He knew her nickname. Only people who got close enough called her that. "I'm not here to be liked," she said firmly, her voice shaking slightly despite herself. "I'm here to do my job." "And your job is—" Raven's voice dropped lower. "To survive me." Maggie swallowed hard. Every nerve in her body screamed, but she kept her back straight, shoulders squared, chin high. "I can survive anyone," she said. He smirked. That dangerous, chilling smirk that made students tremble. But now, it made Maggie's pulse race in a way she refused to admit. Raven stepped back, watching her carefully. "Good," he said finally. "Because I'm not done testing you." Lunchtime tension. Walking through the cafeteria, Maggie felt the weight of stares. Raven Maddox was nearby watching. Waiting. Always near. Xander whispered, "She's crazy for walking there like nothing's happening." Ko grinned. No one survives him without losing their mind. Drew chuckled, "And she's not just surviving. She's thriving." Maggie ignored them, but she felt it every pair of eyes. Every student who wondered, how long before Raven broke her? She spotted Lacey and Mina at the usual table. "Maggie!" Lacey hissed. "He's right behind you. Don't let him." But Maggie didn't flinch. She walked past Raven casually, her expression unreadable. He followed silently. Every step deliberate. Every breath measured. By the time she reached the table, he stopped behind her chair. "You walk with too much confidence for someone your size," he said quietly. "I walk how I want," Maggie replied. "Not how I want," Raven said, leaning closer, so close that she felt the heat of his presence. Maggie's heart skipped. "Not how I want," she repeated, louder this time, forcing her voice to be steady. Raven smirked, amused. "Good, that fire... I like it." After class, the first test, Maggie returned to the office, exhausted. Raven was waiting, as always. "I want you to draft the seating arrangements for the gala tonight," he said. "I already did last week," Maggie replied. "This is different. I want a version you designed from scratch," he said, leaning over the desk. Maggie groaned internally but kept her composure. "I'll do it," she said. He watched her work, silent, intense. Close enough that she could feel his presence around her shoulders. Hours passed. And Maggie realized something dangerous. Raven Maddox was enjoying every second of her defiance. And for reasons she refused to admit, she didn't entirely hate him for it. Because while he was a tyrant, he was also fascinating and terrifying. And somehow, magnetic. Episode 6. The first gala was in full swing. Crystal chandeliers reflected on polished marble floors. Vercilles International Academy's elite shimmered in designer gowns and suits, sipping champagne and whispering secrets only the rich could afford. And Maggie Nix? She stood at the entrance, clipboard in hand, heart pounding not from nerves, but from the knowledge that Raven Maddox would be watching every move. He had assigned her the seating arrangement. He had given her the challenge of managing his event. And now, tonight, her first test would be judged by everyone, including the man himself. Raven appeared behind her, tall, immovable, exuding his usual cold aura. "You're early," he noted. "I like to check details," Maggie said, straightening her clipboard. Raven's eyes scanned the room. Confidence. "I like that. But mistakes will not be forgiven." Maggie squared her shoulders. "I don't make mistakes." Xander, Kio, and Drew lingered near the side, watching. "Bro, she's going to pull it off," Xander whispered. Ko smirked. "She's the first girl I've seen survive him this long." Drew chuckled. "This is going to be fun." The test begins. Guests arrived in waves. Maggie moved with precision, directing students and staff to their proper seats. She handled last-minute changes without flinching. She smiled politely, but firmly, at anyone trying to bend the rules. Raven observed silently, leaning against the wall, arms crossed. His eyes never left her. At one point, a group of upperclassmen students known for mocking scholarship students attempted to sit in the VIP section. "Excuse me," Maggie said firmly. "Those seats are reserved." The boys smirked. "And what are you going to do about it?" Maggie lifted her chin. "You'll have to leave." The boys laughed. Raven stepped forward, tall and imposing, but before he could intervene, Maggie calmly guided the students out, her confidence unwavering. Raven's eyes flickered. She had done it. Without him, she had stood her ground. The moment of triumph. By the end of the evening, every guest was seated perfectly. No mistakes. No chaos. Even Raven had to admit she had handled it flawlessly. He approached her, quiet, his usual smirk replaced with something else. "Impressive," he said. Maggie raised an eyebrow. "Thanks, I guess." "You didn't interfere much." "I didn't need to," he said. His eyes were sharp, calculating. "You proved yourself." Maggie's heart raced. Raven Maddox, the unshakable, untouchable Maddox, had acknowledged her victory. "You're dangerous," he whispered, almost to himself. "I work hard," Maggie replied. "And I don't let bullies win." Raven's smirk returned, faint but undeniable. "Good, I like dangerous." After the gala later that night, Maggie returned to her small dorm, exhausted but triumphant. She dropped onto her bed, closed her eyes, and allowed herself a small smile. She had survived Raven Maddox's first test and won. For the first time she felt a strange thrill, not fear, not intimidation, but excitement. Because if tonight was a battle, Maggie had realized something terrifying. She wanted more. And she knew Raven Maddox wanted it too, though neither of them would admit it yet. The war had begun. And both were playing dangerously close to the edge.